What's up everybody and welcome back to another episode of BH Brewing. It is day 8 on our advent calendar and today we're going to be trying something by the Yeastie Boys. This is the bad boy. It is Yeastie Boys Pink Frost. I've got to admit I'm a massive fan of the Yeastie Boys. They've done some amazing beers. White Noise, fucking love that beer. And also a big fan of their Gonna Matter Earl Grey IPA. That is a really, really nice drop. So we'll see what this Pink Frost's like. So here we have it. This is the Pink Frost from the Yeastie Boys. First thing to say about the head is, well, there's none of it. As you can see when we poured it out, there was a bit there, but it dissipated quite quickly. There's still a kind of a little webbing around the edge, but yeah, not much in general. From the description of this beer, from what I've read, it's kind of like a tarty, kind of a bit soury beer. So I wouldn't really expect a whole lot of head from a beer of that category. Colour of it, it's almost like a rose gold when it's not up to the light. When it's up to the light, and this obviously looks probably different on the camera than it does on to my eyes, but up to the light it's almost an amber colour, but away from the light it's definitely a pinky kind of, almost like a rose gold, like a darker rose gold type colour. Really looks really nice. Decent carbonation on it, so it looks pretty good. We'll go in with the aroma and see what we get from that. The aroma it's a weird one because there's not a lot there, but what you can detect is it's a little metallic, which you do sometimes get with a beer that's a little more sour. There's some kind of metallic notes on there, but there's also some like a berry note. I can't pinpoint exactly what that berry is, but there is definitely some berry in there for sure. Yeah, really difficult to pinpoint what that is, but there's definitely some type of fruit there, and it's definitely comes across as a berry to me. Anyway, let's give this one a sip and see what we taste. Ooh, okay, that's different. That's very. This is going to be hard to describe. The kind of initial taste is very fruity. Like when you first like kind of swallow it, that initial like kind of half a second is very fruity, and then that kind of goes and you're left with kind of a very mild bitterness, and then the kind of tartness comes in on the end to round it all off. But that initial kind of like fruit hit is really nice. Yeah. And like the more I try that, the more I get that kind of fruit hit at first. It's not overly sweet. In fact, it's not borderlining on kind of unsweet, but it's not overly sweet. It's very neutral, I would say, in terms of its sweetness of that fruit. It almost reminds me a little bit of, especially with that tart on the end, it almost reminds me a little bit of rhubarb. You kind of get that, you know, when you have rhubarb and you got that tart kind of, not sour, but tart finish to it. It's a bit like that in terms of its flavour. Mouthfeel is thin, as you would kind of expect from a beer like this, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, I prefer a beer that has a kind of a more medium mouthfeel, but for this category of beer, that doesn't surprise me at all that this is a kind of a thin, and it doesn't bother me that it's a thin mouthfeel. It's very nice, this beer. I can imagine this on a hot summer's day. This would be beautiful and refreshing. The kind of finish on it is a bit dry, but you're going to get that with a soury, tarty kind of end to the beer. I'd prefer if it wasn't, but hey, what are you going to do? Generally, this beer is very nice. Up there in terms of this category of beers, and it's kind of like I say, it's that mix of a sour beer and a normal kind of ale, I suppose, but this is definitely more on the sour side. I'm not a massive fan of sour beers, but this is really nice. If I was to give this a score on the old rate beer scale, I'd probably give this a 76. Actually no, maybe I'll be a bit harsh, maybe a 77, 78. That's probably more fair. I know it's only a couple of points difference, but that feels more fair. This is a very, very nice beer. Really refreshing, really nice kind of fruit flavours come through in there, and a tart finish that's not horrible. I'll thoroughly enjoy the rest of this. Cheers.